Dear sisters, I'm bothered and I was hoping you would help me find solutions to this problem. I'm almost 23. I have been in 2 relationships but still a virgin. I wouldn't say it's a covenant or it's part of my morals to keep my virginity, but it just doesn't take me much to stay away from sex. But here's the thing. These relationships broke apart just for the sake of single sexual related things. I find it difficult to kiss my partner. In brackets, I've never done kisses. I'm very sensitive to touches. In bracket, I shrink away when my partner tries to touch me. My hand, my waist, my shoulder, etc. I don't shrink away because I don't want them to touch me, or I don't like the touch, or I don't yearn for it, but it's on impulse, and it gives them the impression I'm just playing games with them. I don't want to have sex yet. In bracket, I always discuss this before venturing into a relationship. Yet, I can't do simple romantic gestures like kisses, hugs, and I get shy when they look at my face. Anyway, I'm pretty, by the way, in bracket. Worse, I slap hands off when they try to touch me. But to be honest, I like it when my partner touches me, but I don't know why I react otherwise. It's on impulse, or maybe I'm just shy. Is everything okay with me? Is this something I should try and overcome to keep my partner? I just feel all these hugs, kisses might lead to sex. What should I do, sisters? I might lose more relationships in the future because of this. Please help me. Olivia, I'm going to start with you. Yes. What should she do?
Olivia's story.
I was thinking in my head that this one is Olivia.
It's for you. It's for you.
Go for it, sis.
Go for it. You can have 10 minutes. We'll have 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
It's okay.
Sisters, you know what? There's absolutely, first and foremost, I want you to know that there's nothing wrong with you. You are perfectly okay. The fact that you don't want to have sex now, there's nothing wrong with it. The fact that you don't want to be kissing and touchy, there's nothing wrong with it. I've said this story before, but I'll say it again. Before I met my husband, if he asked me out, I'll say yes. Because I don't believe in when a guy asks you out, then you say, oh, I'm thinking about it. The way that thing used to bore me. Like, I used to hear stories of girls say, oh, when a guy asks me out, oh, I'm thinking about this, I'm not sure. You have seen the guy. He's tall, he's short, he's handsome, he's not handsome, he's ugly, handsome, made by God. You can tell immediately from your reactions, oh, there's something nice about this guy. What I believe is, oh, okay, you ask me out, you say, okay, get to know the person, give him a chance, get to hear him out, talk to him, find out who he is, what he believes in, what his values are, what he loves to do, before you can make an informed decision about whether you want to be in a relationship with them or not. But at least give them an opportunity to express themselves. The fact that I say yes to you when you ask me out doesn't mean that I've taken my panties off or I've slept with you. For me, that's like a no. That's my mantra. Do not take your knickers off at any point in time until you get married. So with you, I mean, there's nothing wrong with you, like I said. And then going back to my experiences, so when somebody asks me out, I'll say yes, no problem, give them a try. There was this day I went out, this guy was so fine. This other guy, he was so fine. He was tall, he was handsome, he was like, half caste looking, very, caramel candy kind of guy. We went out, asked me out, okay, no problem. We went out, first time, sat in his car, we were having a chit chat. Boyfriend says he wants to be, he wants to be touching me, kissing me. Like, I'm like, yo, hold on, master, I don't even know you like that. He said, what do you mean you don't know me? I'm here, my name is John. I said, your name is John, says, take me home now. And because that's the thing, if you don't set values for yourself, you end up being everybody's trash bin, where everybody comes and dumps their trash on you, and then what happens to you. And I always say that if you allow yourself to be today Kojo, tomorrow Ifia, tomorrow Mansa, today, and I'm saying this for both boys and girls, because it's not just like, it's not always that girls need to keep themselves. It's also nice for guys to actually keep themselves as well, because it cuts across. So this guy said that, and immediately, because I had my values in place, I know what I want and I know what I'm expecting of my future husband, I was able to stand up for what I believe in, and it's made me me, to the extent that when I finally met my husband, right, because you meet all sorts of people, everybody wants to kiss you, everybody wants to
everybody wants to touch, everybody wants to feel you.
And it's so interesting, my husband never asked me out. He never asked me. We were working together at the same place. My mom said, oh, he came to look for you. I was like, oh, really? So I called him back. So we spoke on the phone, said, oh, I came to look for you. And then he finished the conversation and said, love you. And I was like, okay, that's my cue. I said, okay, love you too. And then we hung up. So he never asked me out. Really? And someone never asked me out.
That was easy.
Very easy.
No stress. You know, you said like, hey, please, you don't mean it. You want to play with me?
What do you mean?
Because maybe it's because I'd studied him, and because we were friends.
Yeah. So.
And I got the opportunity, because we used to work together. I got the opportunity to study him. He was very
loving him, small.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, I admired him because he seemed very grounded at the time. Cut a long story short, we're going out. And I will ask myself, this guy here, he won't even touch my hands for me to even say that, hey, he won't touch my hands. He won't be hugging me. He won't
stress you.
And
now you are now wanting it. I know how that feels like.
I'm like, okay, is there something actually wrong with me? Like, does he find me attractive? Does he find me sexually attractive? He got me asking questions and wondering, but he was interested in me as a human being, in me, my education, what kind of life I want for myself, what kind of future we need to have together when we want to get married. And it's amazing. I don't know whether it also has to do with the fact that I also prayed ahead of time, because I always say this. My mom, yes, she was very strict. She said she doesn't want to know anything about boys. All she has for us is good education in the Word of God and the ability for you to keep yourself and your dignity as a child of God. Don't be at the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong person doing the wrong things. So she's going to give you the Word of God. She's going to, she just basically equipped us like that. So after having had all that at the back of my mind, I also prayed to God. I said, God, I cannot even tell my mother that I have a crush on this person. Oh. Please guide my steps and bring the right person my way. Because sometimes you can have a guy who can, hey, I love you, I probably pretend, but you would never know. So I asked God to give me the spirit of discernment to be able to discern when the right person comes my way, to be able to make the right decision. Because sometimes you might make a wrong decision that will just mess up your life.
It just throws you off
completely. And the thing about relationships and thing about marriage, when you make one wrong step about marriage, it's like you can't go back. Take it back. Yeah. You can't go back. So for me, prayer and asking God to bring the right person my way has helped. And like I always say, I've known him since I was 19, and Rosie will always laugh at me. But I've known him since I was 19, and by God's grace, he's the best thing that ever happened to my life.
Aww.
So go, Stefan. There is a super story out there for you. It's not just your human strength as well. Sometimes praying to God to ask God to bring the right person your way, and being genuine about how you feel about relationships to God also makes a big difference. Because I was genuine about my relationship with God, and I was genuine about, God, give me the right person, bring the right person my way. I don't want any Tom, Dick and Harry to come and waste my time. My mom's marriage was topsy-turvy. I want a good marriage, and I know only you can give me that, and I need you to give me the right person. Sometimes just making that prayer and being faithful and living in righteousness and keeping yourself holy for God makes a big difference. You can't go be praying and be spoiling yourself out there. And I'm not saying that God is not forgiving. I'm not going to sit here and be all like self-righteous, especially to other people who also want to be secondary virgins. Like, God really does come through. If you hold your end of the bargain, he will also do his part. So sweetheart, there is nothing wrong with you. You're perfectly all right. You just haven't found that person. And having said that, it's not like I wasn't attracted to him. So get that right. You have to have that kind of chemistry with that person to ask yourself, hey, like, you know, are they feeling you like that?
Sure.
Okay.
Rosie.
It's off your chest.
Get off my chest.
Okay. Hey, living. Okay, so yeah, like Olivia said, there's nothing wrong with you. I think that what is stopping her from being intimate with the people who are getting to her, one is because of her principles. Because when you have certain principles that are deeply rooted
in you,
sometimes you don't see you acting them out, but because it's so deeply rooted in you, automatically there's a part in your subconscious that tells you that you're not supposed to do this. You're going to regret it if you did it.
Yeah.
So you stick to it. Two, you haven't found the right person yet.
Yeah.
If you find the right person, you realize that sometimes you fight to even keep those principles. And when you see the right person that is not in a hurry to touch you. On the contrary, you begin to question yourself, like you said, your face fine. But this guy, is he actually seeing how fine a girl I am? Like the fact that he's respecting my boundaries so much. I mean, this is national TV. I wanted to share something, but I don't want to share it. Because I also had those principles growing up, and people would, come to me, I'll hit their hand, I finally met somebody, Charlie. Now, the thing was, I wanted to. And the person said, Rosie, I know you're a woman of principle. And the way you go to church and do everything, if I make a mistake and I do this, you will never forgive me. And I felt embarrassed. I felt insulted because and I had been rejected. You understand? But the person knew what was inside of me and knew very well that if he had, I would, whatever. So the thing is, if you meet the right person, the energies will sync. And then you wouldn't think twice about the person touching you. You realize that you'll be comfortable with it, and then you go like, hey, hold on, did he just touch you? Did he just kiss me? Did he just do that? How come it didn't feel weird? How come it didn't feel icky? It didn't feel like somebody was encroaching in my space? And if your principles are that you want to get married a virgin, trust me, this may go on until you meet somebody who is ready. And like I keep saying, when you're in a relationship with someone, it's good for the other party to respect some of these principles that you have. If they can't respect that principle that you have, then most likely they are not on the same wavelength with you, and you are not for them and they are not for you. There are people who they can go and satisfy. And that being said, I don't believe in the thought that marrying a virgin guarantees a successful marriage. Sure. And nothing is really guaranteed. However, I keep saying that when you own your decisions you act out your own decisions for yourself, and your conscience is right, whatever happens, you are able to take it in correctly and able to deal with it. So my dear, there's nothing wrong with you. However, if this feeling of repulsiveness is so extreme, you may want to talk to a psychologist. Maybe something happened whilst you were a child. You don't really remember. And that's what makes touching and holding you very repulsive. Most likely we're even abused as a baby. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and you have locked it out of your mind. And that is why you want nothing to do with a man. So if you feel that the level of repulsion is so abnormal, if you feel it's so out of the ordinary, just seek professional help for them to find out if something happened to you, and that is why people touching you is just so repulsive. But that will depend on the degree of, the degree at which you feel repulsed by people touching you. Yeah.
Right.
That's my submission.
Sure.
I guess I'll lean more to like I agree with both my sisters, and I was going to start with what Rosie actually ended with, that her repulsiveness to touch could be a sign of childhood abuse or something that happened that she literally like blocked off her mind. So she needs to seek professional help. But to talk about principles, I agree perfectly with my sisters. Like, I always believe that if you have certain principles or you hold certain principles at heart, especially in a relationship, you need to align with people who respect those principles, right? Anybody who is quick to abuse that or take advantage or always ready to like defend those principles, try to attack decisions you've made, it's a red flag, total red flag. Like, growing up, I had those principles too. I had set up in my mind when I wanted to break my virginity. Yeah, like never discussed it with anyone, but in my head, I knew what I wanted, and there was nothing that was going to take that away from me. Nothing. Never discussed with my closest friend. Nothing. Like, it was just in me. I knew it. But there was one guy I met who totally respected that. We were like kids, but we dated for a while. Never touched me. Nothing. Like, people had rumors about us that we're doing stuff. We could stay in a room for 6 hours watching movies. He would even hold my hands or anything. So I strongly believe that there are people out there for us who believe in things we believe in, and you need to align yourself with those people. Because if you are with a man who doesn't respect your boundaries, then that's a total like 10 off. Man, that's actually a total 10 off for me. You need to respect my boundaries. You need to respect like certain, and I'm also going to respect yours. But I also believe in how do you call it? I've lost the word. Compromising, right? And that will come when you are 100% sure.
Yeah, and when you're ready.
We are ready. And there should be a discussion. I don't want to have sex. I believe that we are going to settle down shortly. I've seen all the signs. You are the one. I'm the one. Yay. But this is where I can compromise to. That will have to come in, because I don't believe in I'm not doing this ever. I sometimes feel it's not fair in a relationship. Yes, you might meet someone who align with it, but if you also find someone who respects you, who has respected that boundaries, I beg you, I'm not saying drop your knickers, but find a way, yes, to compromise.